and welcome to a new edition of the news. His Majesty King Abdullah, currently on a visit to the United States, discussed with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo Jordan's strategic partnership with the United States, as well as regional and international developments. Discussions at the State Department underlined the historic ties between Jordan and the U.S. and the commitment to advancing them in various fields while maintaining coordination and consultation on issues of mutual concern. On the peace process, King Abdullah stressed the importance of stepping up efforts to relaunch serious and effective Palestinian-Israeli negotiations based on the two-state solution, leading to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state on Palestinian national soil with East Jerusalem as its capital. Discussions also addressed the need to support UNRWA to enable it to continue its education, health and relief services for Palestinian refugees. On the Syria crisis, talks focus on the importance of supporting efforts to reach a political solution through the Geneva process. The two sides also discussed the need to preserve the de-escalation zone in southwestern Syria, which was secured through a trilateral Jordanian-US-Russian agreement. Secretary Pompeo later hosted a luncheon in honor of His Majesty and the accompanying delegation. King Abdullah also signed the guest book at the State Department. His Majesty also held separate meetings with U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis and U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton to discuss ways to advance Jordanian-U.S. ties, in addition to current developments in the Middle East. Talks also covered military and defense cooperation between the two countries and means to enhance coordination and consultation on issues of mutual concern with the aim of achieving security and stability in the region. The importance of preserving stability and calm in the de-escalation zone in southwestern Syria was also reviewed at the two meetings. The meetings also addressed the role of UNRWA and services it provides for Palestinian refugees and the need to support the UN agency to continue its humanitarian role. Discussions tackled a number of regional issues and crises and efforts to resolve them through political solutions, as well as efforts to fight terrorism within a holistic approach. His Majesty also held separate meetings with U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross for talks on expanding Jordanian-U.S. economic and trade cooperation. Discussions addressed the importance of increasing trade exchange between Jordan and the United States and capitalizing on the free trade agreement. The meetings also covered the advantages and incentives offered by the Jordanian economy to investors and the potential of benefiting from Jordan's strategic location and its qualified human resources. The talks also touched on Jordan's economic reform programs aimed at bolstering the resilience of its economy to enable it to overcome challenges caused by regional crises, as well as the repercussions of the Syrian refugee crisis on Jordan's economy. Here at home, deputising for the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister Raja'i Ma'ashir met with leader of the British Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, and discussed with him challenges facing the kingdom in light of unstable regional conditions, as well as developments in the Middle East. Corbyn underlined his party's firm positions on Middle East issues, foremost of which is supporting a just settlement to the Palestinian issue and supporting a political solution to the Syria crisis. He also emphasized the right of the Palestinian people to live in peace on their own land in an independent and recognized Palestinian state, noting that the future of Jerusalem must reflect peace between all. He said the construction of Israeli settlements that hinder efforts to achieve peace must be stopped. The Labour Party leader lauded Jordan's efforts in hosting refugees and said he understands the heavy burden the kingdom shoulders. Corbyn called on the international community to assume its responsibility in supporting Jordan to continue providing humanitarian and basic services to refugees. The information ministers of the members of the Arab Coalition for Supporting Legitimacy in Yemen met in Jeddah. State Minister for Media Affairs Government spokesperson Jumana Ghnemat took part in the meeting, which aims to discuss ways of coordinating the media efforts of the coalition countries and providing the necessary media support for the military, political and humanitarian efforts in Yemen. Ghanimat called for a political solution to the Yemeni crisis that ends the suffering of the Yemeni people in accordance with the Gulf Initiative and the National Dialogue Conference. She also highlighted the need to unify joint efforts to counter terrorism and extremism and stressed the important role of the media in this regard. In addition, the meeting aims to activate the joint media discourse and develop channels of cooperation among the coalition countries. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan and his main challenger, Muharrem İnce, made a final push for a support at rival rallies in Istanbul a day before presidential and parliamentary elections, widely viewed as the most critical in Turkey for decades. The winner of tomorrow's presidential contest will acquire sweeping new executive powers under constitutional overhaul backed by Erdogan and endorsed last year by a narrow majority of Turks in a referendum. But with Turkey's economic woes mounting, partly due to the lira currency's sharp decline, Erdogan and his ruling Islamist-rooted AK party are facing an unexpectedly strong challenge from a revitalized opposition. İnce, a former teacher and the presidential candidate of the main opposition party, the secularist Republican People's Party, has proved highly effective on the campaign trail, drawing huge crowds, especially in big cities. If no candidate receives more than 50% of votes tomorrow, a runoff will be held on July 8th between the two best-performing candidates. Ethiopia's new Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, escaped a grenade attack at a rally in the capital. The attack was launched by an unidentified assailant moments after the Prime Minister finished his speech to tens of thousands of people in the center of Addis Ababa on peace. Ethiopian police said 6 suspects were under investigation for the grenade attack. Here's a story. To sports and the World Cup news of the games of the day. And Germany right now is facing Sweden in their World Cup Group F clash in the Russian city of Sochi. Germany desperately needs a victory after their opening 1-0 loss to Mexico. Sweden will reach the last 16 with either victory over Germany or 2 draws in their final 2 games. We are in the second half right now and it's 1-1. Meanwhile, Mexico built on the momentum from their stunning opening victory over world champions Germany by comprehensively beating South Korea 2-1 and taking a giant leap towards reaching the last 16 of a World Cup they have taken by storm. Carlos Vela smashed them into the lead from the penalty spot in the 26th minute, while all-time top scorer Javier Hernandez sealed victory in the second half. Mexico will clinch their place in the next round if Germany failed to beat Sweden. The Koreans, who have no points after 2 games and have only won 1 of their last 11 World Cup fixtures, will be eliminated if Sweden draw or win against Germany. And in the first match of the day, Romelu Lukaku and Eden Hazard scored 2 goals each as Belgium ran out comfortable winners against Tunisia to qualify for the knockout stages. The other goal came from Michy Batshuayi. Tunisia will now be heading home after losing their last 4 matches in a row. And before we go, here's a quick look at the weather. Warm summer conditions prevail across the country tomorrow with temperatures around seasonal average and the winds northwesterly moderate to brisk. Amman can expect a high of 28 degrees Celsius and a low of 16 degrees. Further south in the Gulf of Aqaba, very hot conditions are in the forecast with daytime temperatures at 38 degrees, dropping down to 25 at night. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Ali Atuqan. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.